All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Connecting with John Drury. This is episode number 9. And my name is Sam Lee. I'm the interviewer and the founder of Connecting with Confidence. And yeah, I'm very happy to have John here to be on the program. How are you, John, today?
Good, thanks, Sam. Great to be here. Looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So how was your weekend today?
My weekend was good. We bought a house about 18 months ago in the Lower Blue Mountains, and we've got a beautiful garden that someone set up for us. But it takes a lot of work to keep it
Great.
in control. So I spent a lot of time in my garden on the weekend.
Oh, really? Wow. So is that like
Yeah.
your holiday house or?
No, this is where we live.
Oh,
It's good
wow.
to be near the city, but not in the city. So
Wow.
I can, in fact, out my window, I can see the lights of the city of Sydney,
Oh, wow.
off in the distance through
Wow.
the trees. So it's a nice spot.
That's pretty cool. So you're
Mm.
always near Blue Mountains. It's great for hiking.
Yes, yeah, we've got lots of nice walks around here, but so many.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot. Like, I remember, I think like just a couple of months ago, I went to near Three Sisters and I did that
Mm.
walk. It's very nice. Like it's very good to go to nature and then yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's a long way from us. We're 45 minutes from Katoomba, but we're just up from Penrith and the Nepean rivers. In fact, I'm about 200 meters from the Nepean River where I live, but it's about a kilometre to walk there. So, that makes any sense?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Wow, you learn something new. I always thought you live like near the city because like
No.
when you go from so when you go to bed at night, like wow, it's quite a drive for you to go to Parramatta, isn't it?
Not too bad because we're right near the M4, so it's half an hour. That's why I don't do breakfast because I don't go anywhere before about 9 o'clock in the morning. Let the traffic get out of the way. Not
Mm.
that there's a lot of traffic during COVID,
Yep.
but middle of the day, it's only half an hour to Parramatta.
Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, I guess yeah, Parramatta's around close to yeah the M4 and then it's around your end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So John, tell me, what do you like to do outside of work? Like, what's your hobbies, etc.
I've always played sport uh, throughout my life,
Yep.
so anything with a bat and ball I was fairly good at naturally.
Yep.
So I enjoyed tennis and golf and cricket,
Ah.
and I still play cricket every summer. We're about to sign up for a new season. Now we've got the early warning of the registrations coming up,
Yep.
and love doing that on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon
Yep.
through the summer. Get out there for 4 or 5 hours and do something that's really got nothing to do with anything. It's just total relaxation and opportunity to focus on a ball with a bunch of guys and enjoy. That's how I switch off completely from work and from everything else. It's a good camaraderie and good fun, and test my skills a bit. Um, and then the garden's a big thing for us. My wife is the gardener, I'm the labourer, and we kind of work in our garden and enjoy doing that together. And there's always a project happening in the garden.
Ah.
And then I've got some grandchildren, so
Mm.
7 grandkids now. They all live reasonably close, so catching up with them
Mm.
is lots of fun, and it's wonderful. Being a grandparent is a whole different thing to
Mm.
being a parent. But
Mm.
I go for bike rides with my eldest grandson. I
Yep.
take them out on all different types of outings and
Mm.
enjoy their friendship and their connecting with them.
Mm.
It's just different. I'm not the disciplinarian. I just the one who has fun with them and then give them back to their parents. So that's good.
That's good. I guess I guess it makes your time useful when you do the things that you're passionate about. And
Yeah.
yeah, I spoke to Charlie as well. He's like, what do you like to
Okay.
work as well? Oh, I like gardening as well. Gardening is like therapeutic for him. So I guess it's
Yeah.
therapeutic for you as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So do you follow cricket or anything like that? Like say Australia?
Follow sports. I'm a Panthers supporter with rugby league.
Yeah.
So we're doing well this year, which is about time. They've shown some promise for a few years, but never fulfilled it. So this year they're heading the competition and playing well. So hopefully we can get a result at the end of the season. But I follow cricket, like I always attend test matches, or I like the test cricket more than the one day and the 2020. But last year, my wife and I went to Europe, and we timed that so we could go and watch the Ashes Test match at Lord's in London. So that was a bucket list thing that I wanted to do. It was great to go to that game for a few days, as well as the other parts of Europe.
I see. Yeah, so I guess it's really different watching live than on the TV show, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. So I go with my grandkids and my daughter and her husband and my grandkids to the Panthers games down here when we can get in. At the moment, there's very limited seats with the restrictions, but most seasons we're members and we go to the home games.
Interesting. That's great. Yeah. So, so tell me about your business, John. So, what made you become a business coach?
Well, I used to run a large organisation. I started as a church. I started a church in the early 80s with about 12, 15 people, and we grew it over time, over a long time. I was there for 24 years, but we grew it to 1,000 people, 1,000 committed people, and we were serving about 3,000 people in our local area. And doing things all over the world, like around Australia. We had some partnerships, and then internationally into Indonesia and Thailand and other countries. We were taking teams regularly to do leadership and community development work, and so I've had that was where I developed my leadership skills in that organisation. We had about 40 paid staff by the time I finished there. We'd built buildings. We had about a $2 million budget, and we were doing a lot of good things. But I finished that about 13 years ago because the church was doing brilliantly for everybody but me. I wasn't looking after myself emotionally very well, and I didn't realize it at the time. I was pretty high functioning, leading lots of people, but a lot of it depended on me because we had a very young church, lots of young people. The average age was 24. And we were starting to get some good, stronger leaders coming up, but I'd carried it for a long time and worn myself out. So I went through a burnout experience that had all kinds of ramifications that led to me needing to resign and take a year out just to regroup and rediscover what had happened, get fit again, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And in that period there also my marriage failed. So I was not in a good place for about a year and a half. And so while I was working that out just to make money, like to have cash flow, I worked for a small business and they asked me to manage it. So they saw that I had leadership skills, and so I became the manager of it was a swimming pool store. They tested pool water and sold chemicals and sold pumps and filters, and then we had a service arm and vans that went out to service people's pools and spas. So I managed that and grew that business over 2 years. So I realized that what I knew in how to grow a church is actually not that different to growing a business. Lots of similarities, and the people side of things in particular are really similar. So I did some training for coach training. I thought, well, I can help businesses grow. Did some executive coach training, did a diploma in coaching, and retrained basically, and then started to get clients straight away as a business coach. So I love helping people. I love to see potential released from an individual or from a team. It's so important that the dream you have, the idea you have, the business plan or desire you have, you need to put a plan around that and put a strategy to it, and then work it to. And I'm good at helping people do that. And I knew that, so I just got a little bit of training and then started my business in 2010, so 10 years ago now.
Wow.
And initially was coaching in a very generalist sense with small businesses, but gradually developed that. So I focus very much on the business owner, helping them work out where they're headed, what they want out of their business, and then put a strategy around that.
Yep.
And then I help them focus on their team. So it's self, strategy, staff, the 3 S's I work on, and in that order really. And we help release the potential of the business, so the business owner gets the business going where they want it to, but also gets some life back, because their team starts to take responsibility when they know how to lead them properly.
Interesting. So tennis and running. Wow, that's very good for tennis.
Yeah, it's been good. The first couple of years, just getting it going. I had a part-time job while I did that, and then finished the part-time job after 2 years. In the last 8 years, this business has done very well, and had given us a good lifestyle and given us money to reinvest and be able to. I've done a lot of training, a lot of learning, and invested a lot in my own personal growth over that time, so I can stay on the cutting edge of and able to help business owners now.
That's great. Yeah, totally. Especially we're both in the same field, like coaching. It's really all about, growing yourself and then improvising from what you have. Like it's never learning non-stop, I guess. So you're always
That's
learning,
right.
always improving yourself, and then you're helping. And the good thing about it is you're impacting upon people's lives. So if they succeed, you succeed. So I guess, as you as a business coach, I guess the more money you help them to make, the better they'll be happier.
Money's one of the things. Like I have a broader view of success because my coaching's because of my burnout experience. I'm very, very. I see a lot of business owners who are emotionally very tired and quite burned out. So I help them get their business going and growing and profitable, but I also help them look at their life and make sure that they've got a lifestyle. Because my philosophy is I work so that I can have a life. A lot of business owners work and but that's all they do. they feel like that's all they can do, but mostly they do want to have a life, but they're not sure how to get it. So I help them. I create business plans in the context of life plans. So we make sure that their marriage and family and their wealth creation and their personal health and fitness and relationships are also working, and that's a big point of difference to what I do. Really, it's a whole of life approach.
I guess that's really good. I guess when you base it upon like instead of just money, like it's really about being successful at the end point. I guess like I think that's a good vision for your clients to embark on. So John, I heard you published a book. So you're a fellow author. So tell me a bit about your book. Is it called Integrate?
It is. It's called Integrate. The subtitle is Why Work-Life Balance is a Myth and What You Really Need to Create a Fulfilling Lifestyle. So I basically, out of my experience of working very hard and ending up very successful in one area of my life, like the church I was leading was very successful by any measure. But my marriage struggled, and I struggled emotionally, and physically. I wasn't physically fit or emotionally fit, and was getting worse. So basically, my book comes out of what I learned in that period, and reflecting on that. You've got work, but you've got to integrate work with all that's precious in your life. To me, it's an integration. It's not about balance. Like there's work and it's as if work and life are somehow separate and opposed to each other, and you've got to get a balance. Work is part of your life, but you've got all these other things that are really important and precious too, and you've got to be able to learn how to integrate them so that you have a successful life. And it's all very well to make a lot of money, but if your 14-year-old hates you, that's not much. You don't feel very successful. So
True.
you want to make sure you've got time for your family and time for your health and fitness. And that's a challenge to make all that work. So the book helps people see how to do that. The starting point is always here. Knowing what you want, knowing who you are, knowing what your strengths are, learning a lot about yourself in order that you can respect yourself enough to look after yourself while you go for it in the things that you're passionate with in life. And so that you can then also look after the people around you. So the book it helps people get a plan for how they can make that work for their life.
Interesting. So how long did it take you to write the book?
About 6 months. I joined a group called Thought Leaders Business School, which was it's a great community of people, and they helped me to think and develop my intellectual property around that became the book, and then capture my thoughts and go deep with my thoughts. And then that took about 3 months, and then it took another 3 months, 5 a.m., 6 mornings a week, writing for an hour. I can't write all day. I go crazy after about 2 hours. So I'd write 1,000 words every morning, and then sometimes it was good and sometimes it was rubbish. And then I worked with an editor for about another 6 weeks, and she cut 15,000 words out of my manuscript and helped me rewrite it.
It's an amazing journey, writing a book.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself. It takes a lot of persistence.
Yeah, and sometimes like you
know
actually,
all about it.
Yeah, you set a deadline, but there's a lot of things to think about, and there's a lot of delay sometimes. Depends. Cool. That's great. So John, that leads me to the second last question. So how do you normally connect with people? How do you build? So you've got a big network. I know you go to a lot of networking events. You're in BNI. What's the secret to building positive relationships with people?
Well, the main way I've built my business is through networking. I've got a website and I do some social media, but most of my clients have come through people I've met in networking events. So I attend Chamber of Commerce business events. I'm part of the Sydney Hills Business Chamber, which is a very, very good, innovative, kind of cutting edge business chamber in Sydney. It's the largest one in Sydney too, I think. And I also attend a few others, Penrith and Blacktown and Parramatta, but I'm a member in the Hills. And I'm part of BNI now in Parramatta, BNI Corporate. So I really enjoy connecting with people. I find it easy to connect because I've been a people person all my life. So I turn up at events and just plow into the room and say hi and introduce myself, and then ask them who they are and what they do. And if they've got a business that, if they're interesting, I'll stay with them. If they're not, I'll move on. If their business is one that I see maybe has some synergy, I try and get a card and then call them and say, hey, would you it'd be great to have a coffee, and so we can talk a little bit more personally, because in a big room of people you can't, you get interrupted and you have lots of half conversations. So I enjoy that dynamic. It works for me. I've got to know thousands of people that way, and I love connecting people to other people, which is what BNI is terrific for that, because it's a whole system with that. But I always do that at networking events. In fact, I went to one in the city once and I didn't know anybody there. It was, I forget how I got invited to it, but I turned up a little bit early, which is always a good thing to do. And I met the host. I met the person who was running it, and said hello, introduced myself, and asked if there's anything I could do to help. So I was helping them set things up. So as people came in, they thought I was part of the team. So they come in and they'd ask me questions. I'd say, I introduced them to the host. I introduced them to a couple of people I just met. So I found that if you act like a host, as people come in, you say, hi, how are you? Well, welcome. It's good to have you here. And then say, do you know so-and-so? And I'd only met the person 5 minutes before, and connect people up with other people. And it really enabled me to have good conversations and meet a lot of people in that room. But I guess you've got to be a little bit outgoing to do that.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of fun connecting people, and if you listen, you say what's a good client for you, or who would you like to meet here tonight? And if they tell me someone that I know, or tell me a business that I think, oh yeah, I've met somebody, and I'll try and put them together. And it's when you help people, it's amazing how people want to help you. It's that simple, I find.
You're the connector.
Yeah, I think that I enjoy that role of being a connector.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah, I guess it's really about being yourself and what you're good at. And I think that like your method is pretty good, like in terms of like being the star of the whole event.
Well, I don't like to be not necessarily the star, but I act a bit like a host.
Yeah.
Rather than stand there waiting for someone to talk to me.
Yeah.
You got to take initiative, because sometimes no one does talk to you. So you can go up to people and say, "Hey, good to see you. Welcome. I'm John Drury." Usually they have a name tag, and say, "What do you do, John or Fred or Bill or Mary or whatever their name is?"
Yeah.
And just find out a bit about them. Ask good questions. Sometimes people never ask you a question, but that's fine. But a lot of times after you've chatted to them and asked them questions, they do say, "And what do you do?" And then I'm ready to talk about how I help release potential in people's lives and in teams. And they want to know more about that usually.
That's good. Yeah, something I got from you just then is taking the initiative, which a lot of people don't take because they're probably frightened or they're scared to consult people. And I guess like a lot of the first step is really about getting out of the comfort zone and being taking the initiative to talk to the person. And a lot of people just fail upon that. And yeah, thanks for that tip, John. So how do we find out more about your business, and what's your website, and what are you on social media?
Yes, my website is John Drury, DRURY .biz, BIZ. .com was taken, so I got .biz. So, and on Twitter, or I don't use Twitter that much, although I've got a lot of followers somehow. I've got on Twitter and Instagram, I'm JD Biz, BIZ Mentor, JD Biz Mentor, at JD Biz Mentor is my tag. And Facebook, I'm on there too. My Facebook page, John Drury, and it's just everything's built around my name.
That's good. Personal branding.
Yeah. So I'm on all those different social platforms, and people can find me there. My phone number's on my website, or I'm not hard to find. LinkedIn, just John Drury. I think I'm John Drury 1 on LinkedIn.
Must be a lot of John Drury there.
Well, around the world there is. It's an English name that has French origins, Drury. So there's lots of Drurys around England and the US and in Australia too.
Is that where you're from? Your background, or?
Well, my family's been in Australia since 1836.
Wow.
So 7 generations, but then they came from England, from Surrey in the south, just south of London, as settlers in the 1830s.
Interesting. Cool. Great. Well, John, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And yeah, viewers, feel free to connect with John Drury. Later on, I'll put up his details on a page, and then I'll upload this on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so you can re-listen it again. So, John, thanks for your time, and I hope you have a good weekend, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate your connection, and you are a good connector, someone who helps people connect with confidence. So I love what you do, and happy to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Sam. Bye.